Stava a succedere nel bordello.
All right, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Bordello. It's episode 238. I'm here in studio with Dilo. Dilo's back after a brief hiatus. Before beginning potting, he got a call from the hospital. He'll be, the next time you're on the show, probably, you'll be in possession of a new knee.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of ACL talk on this podcast about my ACL.
Well, it's a recurring, It's a piece of news that's going on in your life. Are you not comfortable discussing your medical
like, it just feels
matters?
Like a lot of ACL talk.
We haven't talked about it for weeks. Yeah. Some people might have OCD. Some people get it over with. Yeah. One last run out in Italy. Yeah. You're going to Italy in a week.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to just blow the knee out any further. Yeah, you blow it out as far as it'll go.
Uh-huh. I went to play tennis a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. I wasn't like going full force, like running.
Well, I wouldn't think so because you've said that the issue is lateral movement, and tennis feels like a sport where all you're doing is moving laterally.
Exactly. But like I didn't like go full force. Just kind of hit balls back and forth. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sure. But you still have to like plant your footing. Well, listen, you have a date for a new knee. So
my thought process was like, I can't tear it again.
Any damage you do,
exactly,
they'll just fix. It's almost like it's almost like you're gonna trade your car in. You got the date to, you already got the seller. Just floor it one last time down the highway.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go do some.
It's not your problem anymore.
I'm going to have to go test its limits before the surgery.
You're going to come back with a leg split in two, dangling from the tibia down. Yeah.
I'm going to give it unrepairable damage.
Well, here's the thing. When I think about your knee and I think about it being absent of like a crucial piece of like structure that prevents it from shaking or buckling, I kind of get a little freaked out when you tell me that you're doing this mobility stuff like playing tennis or like, whatever it is you're planning on doing in Italy that's really going to push its limits. I don't know, go for a run or whatever, run, do a ladder run.
Yeah, well, apparently like running in a straight line is completely fine.
Well, right, but I'm talking, maybe like a ladder run, some agility work. Like when I hear that freaks me out because I just think that your knee, ladder stuff like that freaks me out because I feel like
it can give out at any moment.
I just feel like I have this image that your leg is going to come apart at the knee and it's going to be dangling like Pinocchio. But we'll see how that plays out. You usually you share your screen with me when we pod so that you could show like articles to me and stuff that you pull up. And when we were setting it up before on YouTube, I saw that your YouTube algorithm was suggesting a WNBA fantasy instructional video. I just want to do this on pod now and have a wellness check. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
I've
sure? Never watched a WNBA game. I've never bet on a WNBA game.
Are you watching the Women's World Cup? Don't tell me you're watching the Women's World Cup.
I'm not.
Good. We can't have you on the pod if you're watching the Women's World Cup.
All I know is that USA lost the other day in pens.
What's the most watchable women's sport, do you think?
Probably tennis.
Tennis is up there, but the more male tennis I watch, the less female tennis I can watch because it's slower. I think it might be MMA.
But it's slower, but there's longer rallies. So it could be entertaining.
Which is, I don't disagree with you. I think MMA is the best. I think it's the best women's sport to watch. I cannot watch women's hockey. I cannot watch women's soccer either.
No.
Like, apparently Canada, I didn't know this because I don't watch women's soccer. I believe they should have a right to play, but I believe also that nobody should have to watch it. Does that make sense? I believe they have a God-given right to do athletic stuff. And I believe that I have a God-given right to neglect it and belittle it and make fun of it with my friends. And that's what I do. That's what we all do because we're normal people. You know,
I think I've watched one game. It was like Canada, USA, Olympic gold medal.
I watched an
When I was
Olympic game
younger.
in 2012 when I was younger,
Yeah.
and then I grew up.
Yeah.
And then I went through puberty.
You know what really turned me off of women's soccer is when I saw like the pens of last year's Olympics, and just comparing.
Did
the
not
pens.
watch. Did not watch.
I
But
didn't
sure.
watch. I didn't watch. I saw the highlights, and just seeing the penalties and the difference. Like it's almost like they're passing the ball when they're.
If
taking
I were a
credit.
girl, I'd probably like to watch it more if I liked soccer. You know, if I had aspirations of playing, it is probably a little demoralizing to know that it'll never quite be at the same level. It's also really hard too to be a female athlete and know that like when you're in your prime is also when you are really generally like, you know, in a position to give birth. So it really does take the wind out of yourselves, like in most careers when they have to, you know, just take like a pregnancy break, you know, like you know, like Ben Mendy just took 2 years off of football for an unrelated issue, but you know, the wind has really been taken out of his sails, for example. Now that was a whole different story. I'm surprised he didn't go to Saudi Arabia. He signed for a French club. Maybe he has enough money. Man City was paying him up until a month ago when they released him. He, of course, was accused of many counts of rape, was recently acquitted on all of them. And it's got to make you wonder, because there are a lot of footballers who in recent years have been getting accused of rape, and it's a very uncomfortable subject, but it's a reality. It's a thing that's been going on. If you're a smart club, you probably can punch a little above your weight and get a guy that you never would have been able to get before, if only he could just be acquitted. And that's the thing. You never know if he will or won't be. Like Mason Greenwood, we were talking about it before. Like, he's also no longer facing charges for rape, but he's not signing anywhere because he will not get acquitted, because we know it happened. There's video of it. He's just like a really good gaslighter, and he was able to impregnate that lady. So now she, you know, he was able to emotionally manipulate her, and now she's like, no, it's good, actually. It's kind of like, well, you can't really, you know, you can't unsee the video. You know what I'm saying? You can't unsee the tape. Like, it's not the same as having a legal acquittal. You know, like Kevin Spacey's never coming back. I saw recently that he was acquitted 2 weeks ago. I was like, fuck, this guy, I didn't even realize there was a case going on.
Well, to argue your point.
But you understand, I thought Kevin Spacey was a rapist. And he might be, but he was acquitted in a court of law. So whatever that means, he's legally not one now. In my mind, he was one. So anything he could do from, you know, this point forward, if I hadn't seen that news article, I would still think he is one. It's over for him. So for Mendy, you know, it might have been the case, but, you know, a small French club, Lorient, came in over the top, decided to sign him, you know, which at a certain point, it's kind of like you have a bunch of clubs that are like playing a game of chicken. They're like, listen, we all, Nantes, you know, Lorient, Brest, all these like small French clubs are like, putain, il est là. Benjamin Mendy, franchement, il faut, certain point, you know, they're French, so they're kind of like, you know, their opinions on rape probably aren't even, you know, they probably were like willing to sign him when he was actually like in an active case, right? Like, well, you know, you lock the door, it's fun and games, you know. It's not the end of the world, you know. But, so, you know, one of them beat the others to his signature, whatever. And it makes you wonder, you know, maybe that's a thing. You know, that's actually a good sporting director should be on Rape Watch and look at the other clubs and, you know, try to keep your ear to the ground. What rumblings are going on? Are they going to sign this guy who was accused of rape the day that he's acquitted? You got to have, like, in your calendar, all right, Dani Alves, September 2nd, on your calendar. Check the news. Just check the news to see. Have an offer pre-drafted.
You think they're watching, like, a live stream of the court?
Like Johnny Depp. Yeah, I mean,
hoping he gets acquitted?
I think if they're good at their job, I think they already have the offer drafted, and they just sign off on it once the news article goes out.
What a day for him.
What a day for him. Yeah.
Gets acquitted and a contract right after.
Yeah. But anyway, so, you know, some players get accused of rape. Some women give birth. You take time off. It takes the wind out of your sails. It's tough. It's tough being a female athlete. So what were you going to say?
Well, Deshaun Watson, he became the highest paid quarterback right after.
Enlighten me.
Well, he had those 23 sexual assault cases, and then
Is that the NFL?
yeah,
I discount anything that happens in the NFL. The NFL is not real life. The NFL that does not. No, because because America loves football more than probably anything except I don't know. No, America loves football more than anything probably. I don't know why the rules don't apply in the NFL, but they just don't seem to. The rules only apply in football when they get caught with something, you know. Like on video, like the thing with, what was that guy? Ray Rice. Was it Ray Rice?
Yeah.
Is it Ray Rice? The guy who hit his wife in the elevator, knocked her
Ray
out?
Rice, yeah.
Is it Ray Rice? Yeah. Like they saw the tape and tried to kill that off, and they couldn't. It found its way to TMZ, and they had to act. But in any case where I think something like that circulating, the PR team is working hard to overturn it. But granted, I'm not familiar with the Deshaun Watson case at all.
At all.
No, what's the Deshaun Watson? I barely follow the NFL.
It was like the biggest story in the NFL
When?
for like the last 2 years.
Okay. Who is he?
Quarterback. He was like
For the Tennessee Titans?
He was on the Titans.
He was on the Titans. Okay, so
And then he got like 23 women that came out and said that he got massages and that he was asking them to touch them in weird places.
Did they do it?
Some of them said he did. I think they did, or they felt pressure to do it. And then after, I think he, what's it called when you come to an agreement?
Yeah, he settled. Yeah, I understand. See, so the problem with the massage thing, if that's all 23, and it may not be all 23 of the cases, I don't know. I'm not familiar with any of this shit. But the problem with the massage thing,
it's behind closed doors.
it's behind. No, that's not what I was going to say. We're talking about strictly in the court of public opinion here.
Right.
Okay. The problem is men who love football and men who love pussy, which is most men in America, hear that he went into a massage parlor and was able to successfully coerce women into giving him a happy ending. Just probably, unfortunately, this is a fallacy of male psychology. Their respect for him probably went through the roof because they were like, I would love to do that. I get it. Good for him. That's probably, I think, what people might have been thinking. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I suspect that people heard. Now, again, I know none of the, I know this is, I'm speaking here knowing none of the details. It could be that was like 15 of them and the other 8 were like, no, he bent me over and anally raped me. I don't know.
I don't think it went that far.
Well, I don't know either. I don't know the fucking details of the case. What I'm telling you is, if it was like a bunch of women who worked in Nurus who, came out and said, I would massage him and he would kind of pressure me to do it and he never forced me, but I felt pressured, they'd be like, yo, that guy's a fucking, probably, he's a guy. I think there's a lot of things that male psychology is such that I feel there are a lot of things that circulate in the media where people in the media think they're actually doing this guy a disservice, but in reality, in the court of male public opinion, they're like secretly gaining respect. That might be one of those. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this any further because I know nothing on the case. Okay, let's talk about what matters here, which is women's football. I think so I've not been watching the Women's World Cup. I do not know what's going on. I think it's in New Zealand or Australia. I'm not being I think it's
New Zealand.
I think it's been occurring at fucked up times. I see on the TV guide, so I think it might be, I assume it's like in Asia or down under or something. That's all I know of what's going on. I will say that apparently Canada went out early and there were guys on the radio who, the way that radio works in Montreal is you have a lot of old guys, a lot of old Jews who kind of speak English, because the people that speak English in Montreal are old wasps, dumb wops, and Jews, predominantly. That's mostly it. The people that like sports, that like hockey, that want hockey talk in English are dumb wops, wasps, and Jews, right? So English sport radio in Montreal is catered toward those people. And there's this one guy, Mitch Melnick, who's like he's like an afternoon anchor, has been for a long time. He loved baseball. He was a baseball guy. He grew up liking baseball and hockey. He liked the Expos. He liked the Montreal Canadiens. And those are the two things that if it were up to him, he would only ever discuss on the radio. The Expos are dead. They don't exist anymore. They moved to, Washington, much to my father's, dismay. And many people are, parents' age, I think. So the Habs are the only thing they really care about, the Montreal Canadiens. But because it's sport radio, these poor bastards have to talk about any sports that are going on. And I remember walking through the kitchen when my dad's listening to the radio. Mitch Melnick is talking about how the Canadian women have embarrassed themselves. And that's all I know that happened. But I know that he's talking about it because he feels like he has to give an opinion on it. He don't want to talk about men's soccer, much less women's soccer, right? But, I was thinking, all right, like, okay, the women went. Apparently they lost a game, and I think they went out of the tournament. And I thought, look, that's not bad. Like, that's not, look, how do I put this? It sucks, but at the end of the day, it's only women's soccer. Don't get that, it's people, but like people were like, tweeting about it, getting mad. It's like, dude, I don't know.
It's women's soccer.
It's women's soccer. Like the economy is going to, it's not going to affect the economy of the country. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Danish national team goes out of a World Cup or something, there's a visible, like society the next day is slow. Waking up in the morning, people aren't into it. No one's waking up the next day in Canada, downtrodden. You know what I'm saying? It's just like no one here really cares about women's soccer. It feels like that. It feels like a thing that, unfortunately, is doesn't have the will of the masses. But, they'll keep showing it to you just in case you weren't sure. Just in case you weren't sure that you didn't want to see it, But what else are you going to watch at 4 a.m, right? Like, you may as well throw it on TV. But yeah, I don't suspect the numbers on it are great, But, but that makes me a bad guy for saying that, Fucking Mitch Melnick. Yeah, the people that listen to radio in Montreal in English, sport radio generally, I actually think more than half of are dumb Italians. That's a thing I've noticed. If you hear the people that call in, it's pretty funny. Like after the Canadians lose, you'll have like dumb wops call in and go, "Yeah, it's Massimo from RDP," or it's Anthony in LaSalle, and he'll go, "Yeah, I think Plekanec, Carey Price, Carey Price getting paid too much money." Here's the thing about people in Laval. Laval Italians, I've talked about them before on the show, but here's the thing. Laval Italians. So, in many ways, Laval Italians are the most like extreme, most they're kind of the most in-your-face Italian group there is in Montreal. Montreal Italians are a thing. They speak differently than New York Italians or Toronto Italians. I think you can really get the best sample size of Montreal Italians in Laval, in the neighborhood of Laval. It's, city next to Montreal. If you're not familiar, we've talked about it a lot over the years, but the city of Laval. Laval Italians, I think, are the worst Italians on the planet, and here's why. Some people might argue that it's New Jersey and Long Island and that they're horrible people, and they are, don't get me wrong. But here's the thing. People in Laval have no redeeming qualities about them whatsoever. The Laval Italians have none. At least in Jersey, Long Island, there's a little bit of charm there. They're charmless in many ways, but they lack tact in a way that's so profound that it almost is entertaining, and people watch it. People consume it. The Long Island medium, The Sopranos. People do like watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey, which is the same thing as Long Island. It's the same shit. It's the same cohort of crazy Italian, okay? The same type of food, the same behavior. We're talking about the same type of person. People enjoy watching Italians from Long Island and New Jersey because they're entertaining. Nothing from Laval is entertaining. It just gives you cancer. It just makes you hate the human experience sometimes when you hear these people talk. It's not entertaining. It's hard to digest. Oftentimes you can't understand what they're saying. People who speak English speakers from other countries, like if you took a person in Germany who learned English in school, they would probably have a better comprehension of the English language than a person from Laval who thinks in the English language in their brain, in their little Laval Italian brain. But if you filmed these people and broadcast it to the rest of the world who speak English as a second language, or even in some places where they speak English as a first language, like Scotland, for example, or Wales, I think they would have a very hard time understanding them much more than, some other horrible Italian neighborhoods or enclaves, And I think that's because people have consumed content, movies from, that type of Italian for decades because it's entertaining. It's entertaining. Now, don't get me wrong. Italians in Long Island and Jersey are oftentimes very stupid, but they kind of can express their stupidity a little better in a way that you can follow. In Laval, it's more just they speak in vague terms and they can't really speak English that well. And I'm not kidding you when I say that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like when I say they don't speak English well, I mean just that. They often cannot form full, coherent sentences. I'll give you an example, okay? There are kids on the soccer team I'm playing now that are from Laval. I think one of them had their brother there the other day. And, he's talking about how I'm going to Vanier, I'm starting college. I want to take Italian, but I want to do college good. I want to do it. I want to do it right. I want to do college right. It's like, what? I want to do me in college. I want to do right. It's like, what? It's like word salad. It's all over the place. They're not like the way they get from point A to point B is not in a linear sense. It's up and down. They take you on a journey. Every sentence is a fucking, is a journey. And let me tell you, I have friends on the team. There's a friend group. There's a people, I have buddies, okay, friends of my friends who come out to, watch our games. And some of them are lovely people, but they're also a little annoying. And, I tell them that to their face. Like, guys, shut up. Like, what the fuck, be quiet. Jesus Christ, you guys never shut the fuck up. Like, I've kind of, I've implied that to my friends before. Jesus Christ, you guys are a fucking annoying friend group. And even them, they're local to this area. They hear the Laval cohort and they're like, fucking Jesus, what's wrong with that? It's one of those. It's one of those, I mean, and here's the thing, like some of them are fundamentally good people, but let me give you another example of a thing that happened once when I was playing soccer in the past. It doesn't matter when. It's just at some point in the distant past or not so distant past. Doesn't matter when. There was a kid on my team who was from Laval. He was a Laval Italian. His parents came out one day. It was the kid's birthday. They brought donuts. Nice. We brought donuts. It's our son's birthday. Here, have a donut. We got the donuts from Tim Hortons there. It's nice. A nice gesture. Dad's a short little Italian guy, bald. He used to coach. Why is he not coaching anymore? Why is he fucking bringing donuts to the bleachers? Well, he used to coach. Well, what's going on with him? Well, he had an incident. What's the incident? Well, okay, I'm happy you asked. He called the kid the N-word, and that's the year prior, and he's banned for life. But he's a good guy. He's a good dad. He had a slip up and he had a momentary lapse in judgment. That's a thing that's going to happen. That's just a thing that's going to happen. It's baked into them somewhere, deep inside, It's also why we see racism in Italian football, It's in the moment, right? You have guys that'll come out and say, no, I'm cool with everyone. No, everyone's cool. But then, scimmia merda. Black guy just fucking tackled our guy. Fucking scimmia. I don't know why I'm making him like Southern. It's actually, most of the issues have actually, they've occurred everywhere, actually. I was going to say they've occurred in the north of Italy. They pretty much occurred everywhere. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Was that a Roman guy? Scimmia. Monkey, scimmia, monkey. I'm trying to think of how a Roman would say it. Scimmia, a Roma, io sono da Roma. Poi c'è stata una da Lazio, scimmie. It's kind of, anyway, whatever. It just comes out, It's like a generational, or maybe it's I don't know. It's not a generational thing. It's It's like a DNA thing. It's in the DNA of the people. Anywhere they go. You're not going to tell me that hasn't happened on a baseball diamond in Newark? Sure, it's happened last weekend. You know? You probably still have guys that are calling people like racial terms that don't even exist anymore. Spick, you know? Just fucking... you know? But you know, that Italian guy calling a Puerto Rican guy a spick. You not think he'd fuck a Puerto Rican lady? Of course he would. He loves everyone. Again, it always goes back to sex. It's the Berlusconi model. It always goes back to sex. You know? Are you really racist? Well, would you fuck them or not? You know? You got to be pretty nuts to say I would never fuck a dirty blank. Generally, racist men will always fuck them. Maybe often they have a fantasy of doing just that. Anyway. So there's this Laval podcast here, these two Laval Italians, called the Chemical X podcast, and I have girlfriends, my girlfriend and her friends, who are my girlfriends, my friends who are I don't know why I worded it that way. My girlfriend's friends really want me to go on this podcast. They wanted to have me on a year ago, and then they ghosted me, but I can make a call and make it happen. You and I were talking about this before. I think I need to do more to make this pod pop off a little bit. You know, I'm not very good at this, right? Like in the beginning, off the top, I forgot to say like the video and subscribe. It's like I told myself for 2 weeks now, it's going to be the first thing I say. I didn't fucking think to do it until now. We're 25 minutes in. So I need a little help. You know, I need to maybe cross promote. I need to like have different guests on, maybe go on other shows. You were telling me you think I should go on and just go full Tate.
That's one approach.
One approach.
You had a different approach. I don't know if you want to give it away.
Be myself?
No, well.
Be myself.
Yeah, sure.
Be myself. Sure. Be a version of myself.
Yeah.
No, well, you know, I'm sure they're delightful. I'm sure they're lovely. They'd be welcome on any time. I'm sure we'd have a very insightful discussion on things such as where to find a sugar daddy and the best restaurants in Miami. I shouldn't talk. I'm going to Miami in 2 weeks, you know? I'm not proud of it, but it's where I'm going. And if Chris Italia opens a comedy club there and in 5 years he taps me on the shoulder and says, it's time. Hasta luego. I'm going to Miami. It is what it is, you know? You got to accept, you know, things for what they are. Listen, I'm making fun of women's soccer. I don't even care about men's soccer anymore, really. Like, I even think men's soccer is kind of like not all that. The only reason I'm still into soccer is because it's grandfathered into my brain. That's a word I like to use often, grandfathered. But it really is just baked into me.
You know what the solution to that is?
Watch more UFC.
Put money on it.
Put money. That's good. Yeah. I don't know why that was an embarrassing guess on my part. I knew the answer was put money on it. That is true. If you put money on women's soccer and your team loses, it's okay. Your week can be ruined. I expect your week to be ruined. That's definitely fine. Don't get any ideas.
I won't be touching women's soccer.
Excellent.
But I'm excited for men's soccer. Yeah.
Oh, is that why you're excited for men's soccer to resume? You were saying you need something to do on Saturdays. Well, because I'm excited for it because I've just been following Cosenza and Juve's, you know, off seasons pretty closely. Very different off seasons. Juve have been getting in trouble left and right for, issues that have been plaguing them for a number of months now. And then Cosenza have just been, their admin's gone fucking rogue, dude. I sent you a picture. Check one of the first pictures I sent you the other day. Earlier today. Jesus. This is from the Cosenza. This is from the Cosenza official Instagram account. And you could just overlay this in the background while we you know, when you edit this, just for the YouTube. So look at this. They had a post that was flagged for misinformation. See why. Or see the post. Scroll to the next one. Look at what the post was. These guys are fucking going off. A Wolf Blitzer with a fake banner. What does it say? Domani apre la campagna abbonamenti del Cosenza. Tomorrow, season tickets going on sale. By the way, the whole tribuna, I think, closed off for safety reasons. So, abbonamenti sto cazzo. So they can fucking sell them in the curva and that's it. When you watch, dude, on Rai 2, like the second, I think there was I think they were playing the relegation play-out game against Brescia. I believe it was being aired on Rai 2, the second largest channel in Italy, maybe. I don't know. You know, the second largest channel of the public broadcasting arm. Empty tribuna. Empty grandstand. I thought that no one gave a shit, to be honest. I only learned weeks later that it was closed off, and apparently, like, they're still in the process of getting it rid of it. Anyway, but, you know, tough times. They got to have fun. Having fun on social media. They signed Gennaro Tutino, who used to play in Serie A. He was a player that played for them in Serie C and B when he was very young. He then went off to Verona to play in Serie A. I don't know why my mic is fucking cutting out here. I think we're good. But yeah, so we re-signed him, like, from Parma. That's a big deal for us. He's like a Serie B level player. I'm more excited about that than Juve right now. That being the prospect of having that guy play for Cosenza again. You understand? Then Juve, on the other hand, I mean, you know, very different, right? In the news for that transfer ban, which has been plaguing them for some time now. And just, you know, you could just keep scrolling down here. I see you have a couple of things that I sent you. Don't you can actually just hang on, just a side note before we talk about Juve. Look at this. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. So I went card shopping in the past couple of days. And I noticed that anytime you go to a pharmacy now, I don't know why my fucking mic keeps cutting out. We might have to just edit that in a sec. Sorry. But yeah, anytime you go to a pharmacy now, there's an LGBT pride section where you can get, like, gay cards. I saw this one. I thought it was endearing. Maybe just throw it up. You're an LGBT cutie. Let me tell you something. If I have a kid who's gay, you know what I would do?
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'd say, good for you. That's fine. Do it. I don't give a shit. Honestly. You know what I'm not doing, though? Ever bringing it up in normal life. Imagine, dude, giving your fucking kid a card. I know you're gay. How part of their how much a part of their personality does it have to be for you to see that card and say, this'll do it for him? Like, dude, like, I had soccer. Some kids have nothing. They just have gay. That's their thing when they're 14. I think I like cock. So I'm just going to lean into this more and talk about it openly. It used to be that, like maybe it's better, you know, like, maybe you used to harbor shame and stuff. But can we also not, like, be very, you know, flamboyant about, like just talking about the sexual proclivities that we have or the things that we're into, you know? Because that's what it is, right? You're just, imagine, dude, you're giving a kid a card. I mean, this could also be, honestly, if it's an adult and you're giving this card to them, that's almost an even worse look because it's very juvenile speech. You're an LGBT cutie, you know? It's a thing you'd give to like a kid, like an 11-year-old. Or even like a 4-year-old, you know? But, you know, I mean, maybe some of them do know. I don't know, right? You're 4, you know, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm into. When you're in elementary school, aren't you like, how could you know you're gay in elementary school? Because the thing in elementary school is, we'll stop the mics in a second here. But the thing in elementary school is, like, you're repulsed by the opposite sex. Like there's no, like, the more you like girls, the more you pretend, ew, until you're 12. That's the rule. That's, you know, what I remember, right? Mm-hmm. So how does, like, a homosexual relationship come into, like, what kind of dynamics are there, right? It's almost like if you're gay and you're 10 and you want to hide it, you have to pretend that you like women, which makes you gay because the straight kids pretend they hate women. It's all warped, you know? But yeah, I would never give my kid this card if he was gay. I wouldn't be like, hey, little gay Sam Jr., just a reminder, we know you're gay and we want to, you know, we want to give you this card because we know it's a thing that you value very, you know, deeply. It's like, can we just let it be a thing that exists, you know, as part of his life? He's, you know, this is the way he goes and that's it. Do we have to talk about it? You know, when grandma's fucking there, you know, as the cards are being opened, dude, can you imagine like an Italian, like, you know, household, right? You open up the card, cash falls out, grandma sees you're our LGBT cutie, or maybe, you know, supportive grandmothers are giving their kids this now. I'll bet you like a grandmother would buy this. Think about it. If you find out that your kid is like gay at 17 and they're going through a hard time and it's like part of their identity, you're a grandmother, because they mean well, right? But often they miss the mark a little bit, but it's kind of endearing. There's got to be a grandmother that's given a gay kid a card like this. It's got to have happened once before. And
or she thinks he's gay.
See, yeah, send a message. You know what though? This is a good thing to get for your bros. I would actually get that from my best friend, or like for my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like after a certain amount of time. That's what these are good for. All right, let's pause the mics here for a second, and then we'll come back. All right, we're back. Sorry, little technical issue. We're back. So I was telling you before about how the thing with football is I don't even want to like football anymore. I just do because I do. It's like football chose me. I didn't even choose it. It's kind of like I understand there are greater issues in the world now, but I can't help but still like it. I can't help but still like the sport. It's too late. It's part of me, you know? I don't watch much hockey anymore, but I still care about the Montreal Canadiens because when I was like 5, I fell in love with them, and now I watch them, you know, whenever something big's happening, you know? And I'll always be following them, you know, at least passively, you know? And when they're doing well, I'll follow them much more actively. Some would say that's a cowardly thing to do. When they suck, I don't, you know, I just check the news. Oh, they still suck? Okay, you know? But when they do well, it's fun. So the thing with sports is you kind of tend to... Listen, I think if sports hooks you in, or if any one particular sport hooks you in when you're older, your life is falling apart. For you to be an adult who kind of like gets hooked in to sports for the first time, like you've never been into any sports and then it happens, that's a little weird. Now, I get that it can be contagious. Like imagine if you just start going to football matches and you sit in like, you know, in like an ultra section or something. You see how crazy it is. Like there's a reason that people do it. It's because it's addictive, right? So I get that you can get addicted to it out of nowhere as a 32-year-old man. I'm just saying that if that happens, you probably don't have a lot else going on in your life, you know, just for you to even discover like new things. It's like at a certain point, I think you want to kind of not discover too many more new things. It's okay to have like new hobbies and discover stuff, but you don't want to like just totally change the type of person you are. Like for you to go to a guy, like from being like an IT guy who only ever read books to being like a football ultra, that's such a 180 type of, you know, shift that it almost makes you wonder whether or not you are a sane person. It's like most of the football fandom that exists is shit that like kind of gets cooked into you when you're a child, and then it just becomes part of you when you grow up, and then you're just a lawyer who likes football, you know? So, right. Now, I'm in a bit of a weird spot right now, okay? Because I'm just gonna give you an example, okay? I brought a couple props. I hid these from you. I don't know if you saw this, but watch on YouTube so you could see what it is that I'm showing. But you see, Dilo? It's a Maradona scarf. Dios. Why do I have this? This is a Napoli scarf, right? Well, not exactly. I mean, it's blue, and it's clearly from Naples, but it could be, you know, this could be from Argentina. It's a Maradona scarf. Now, I have a cousin from Italy who's visiting us right now for the first time ever, the first time that any relative of ours has gotten her ass on a plane and come over. Her son-in-law is from Naples, Michele. He's a great guy. I've known him for years, and we're friendly. He sent me this scarf. He knows I'm a Juventino. I think he didn't want to send me a Napoli scarf because he understands that, you know, I'm not a Napoli fan, but he sent me a fucking Maradona scarf. And, you know, by the way, because the gesture was very nice, I thanked him, right? And I messaged him, dude, I just became a total cuck a total Diego cuck. You know, I was like, I'm messaging him, you know, I'm very touched, thank you. You know, I'll keep this piece of Naples with me. L'intoccabile Diego. Untouchable. And he's like fucking sending me blue hearts. Un bacio forte. And I'm like just totally getting cucked by Naples right now, you know? I'm just fucking dick riding for Naples. As a Juve fan, just selling my soul. And I'm realizing I'm realizing that, look, I'm a Juve fan, but I have a very mature relationship with Juve. Does that make sense? I have an adult relationship with Juventus Football Club now. Okay? So my cousin sent me a scarf from Naples. He's from Naples. He sent it from there, with my cousin. Put this in your bag. Please, give this to Sam. And I wasn't revolted by it. I said, thank you. It's very nice of you. Diego, Maradona, on a scarf. Very cool. Appreciate it. Some Juve fans might say, you're a sellout. You're this, you're that. Worse stuff, You're a cock. Their words, not mine, I assume. That's not very mature, is it? I'm a more mature fan, I think, because I understand it for what it is, They don't excite me that much anymore. They could at any given moment, and that's the point. Allow me to expand. Are you with me? Okay. I think at a certain point, when you start following a club when you're a kid, it's like this amour fou. You're all in on them. You're all in on the friggin' club. You're in love with them. You only care about them. And every week, you're looking forward to their game. I have not looked forward to a Juve game in probably 5 years. You understand? Not to the point that I'm excited the week of. Maybe when Ronaldo signed. That's 5 years, actually. 4 years. Maybe the game that I went to last in person. That's also 5 years, actually. So it's not like they're ruling my life anymore. But it's like they're always there. They're just in the back of my mind. I'm kind of sucked into being a fan. I won't stop being one, but I'm less interested in them generally now because I have other things going on in my life. And I would compare it to a marriage. And I really would. And I know I'm not the first guy to make that comparison that being a football fan is your first love. No. I'm not making a romantic comparison. I'm making a pragmatic one. Okay? How many people do you think are 12 years into a relationship with their wife? I'm a 26-year-old man. God, how many people are 14 years into a relationship with their wife and are still dying to get into bed with them every day? Someone sends me a Napoli scarf. Napoli's sexy right now. I go, that's nice. Jeez, that's nice. And I think to myself, maybe I should have been a Napoli fan. I'm from southern Italy. It would be very cool. I feel this tie to the city. Every time I go to that city, I enjoy it. But I got to be loyal to Juve. It's who cares? It's a free country. Do what you want. Nope, I'm not divorcing her. It is what it is. I'm just putting up with it. And that's it. And here's the beauty about being a football fan. One day, she could just get a tummy tuck or a vaginal rejuvenation or choose to get filler or something. A full facelift, Think about it. One day your wife out of nowhere just says, you know what, let's try threesomes. You want to put it up my ass? Spice it up. All of a sudden, geez, you're fired up again. You're excited about what's to come. That could happen. You sign a new player. Newcastle United. How do you think those fans felt for 10 years? Going down to the championship twice, full facelift, Saudi money, influx of cash. Your wife just inherited a ton of money. She's got lip filler now. Little glute sculpting. It can happen. So it's you got to be ready for any given moment when it gets exciting. That doesn't make you a bad fan. That makes you a grown up. I don't know. So, having said that, Juve recently, in the past couple of weeks, you and I haven't potted for a while. We did some stuff for JFL. So the tone was a little different for 2 weeks, but just before Just for Laughs started, so we haven't had a chance to bring this up yet, but Juve were officially, or I think it might have been while it was going on. It was 2 weeks ago. Juve were officially kicked out of European competition by UEFA. 2 weeks ago now. Which, by the way, they were in the Conference League. Thank God. Thank Christ. Brilliant. Get them out of the Conference League. Don't need it anyway. Who cares, right? They won their first Scudetto in 7 years under Conte after, not qualifying for Europe. It can be a good thing. It would actually be great if they could just rebuild and focus and zero in on one competition. We've seen it before. I think when Milan won the title, I think they were out of Europe, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know. In any event, I still do want to talk about what's going on here. Because understand the precedent that's being set here. And I don't know if this will be fun or funny, but actually fucking pay attention to what I'm saying here if you're listening to this. Deal, I'm talking to you too. Juve last year had two separate cases going on, right? One of them was the arbitrary values of overinflated transfers that they got docs points for, which a lot of people understood to be like crazy. And again, I'm not just talking about this because I'm a Juve fan. I'm talking about this because, as I have been for months, because, it's just important to like the sport at large, but also like the Italian game. So just to stay on subject here, the first thing that they were getting dock points for, or that they were getting in trouble for, the first investigation, the first trouble, the first bit of trouble they got into was for arbitrarily having, or it having been arbitrarily decided that transfer values that Juve assigned to their players was overinflated. They got docs points for it. Okay? That's crazy. You understand, and again, we've talked about this at length. I don't have to go into depth over this anymore. I mean, you've heard this on other pods. You guys have had months to fucking think about this. You guys understand how it's crazy to even consider the value of a transfer as being too much, because the value is whatever the clubs involved choose to, mutually pay, right? Mutually agree upon. They got them for having done it systematically, and the thing I said months ago as well, they just did it better than everyone else. Then there was another issue though, and that was the real one, right? The first issue was kind of like a Mickey Mouse one, and then there was another issue that, in my opinion, was the real one, the real issue, which was the fact that they being Juve, at the start of COVID, deferred payments of a couple players and effectively committed indirectly stock market manipulation, because Juve is a publicly traded company. So fucking around with cash flow and saying, nah, I know we have a contract, but we'll come to some kind of private agreement here. We'll just defer. Technically, fine, stock market manipulation. Now, again, I understand that's a technicality, and I understand that you have to be creative at the time of, at a time of crisis to try to keep shit afloat. Because again, it's not like Juve didn't have money, but Andrea Agnelli cannot just pump money into the club, right? He cannot pump personal finances into the club. That's the whole point, is they need to be sustainable. That's part of the FFP rule also. There might have been some requirements as a publicly traded company that would have prevented them from doing something like that, though I'm not totally sure about that. I'm sure Agnelli hypothetically could have cut a check to the club out of the Agnelli family coffers, out of the Fiat coffers, whatever, right? And, covered the expenses. But, I think that might have been seen as more problematic for whatever reason. So they opted to defer payments of a couple players' wages for a couple of weeks. Stupid decision at the time, but, whatever. Understandable, but still a stupid decision. Technically, that's a crime. They got zero for that. Just so you understand. They got nothing. In the courts, they got nothing. From a sporting POV, no points were deducted. All the points that were deducted. And the fact that the club has now been banned from Europe, I believe is because, I think it's being stated as having been because of the fact that the transfer values were fucked around with. I could be wrong. I think the transfer ban might be because of the other thing. But as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of all just been one.
Here it says breaking financial fair play regulations.
Okay. And it doesn't say which of the two infractions is considered a break of FFP rules. It's not indicating that in the article you're looking at. If you could find it, maybe. While you do that. Just all this to say, I want to point out something here, okay? Which is the reason that the Saudi League will probably work out at some point is because Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, I think you'll have guys like, are you good?
I'm just trying to
You're
figure
still
out.
looking?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I think the Saudi league will work out for a couple reasons. I think the first thing is that you'll have guys like Mendy who will say, fuck it, I got accused of rape, I have somewhere to play. Great, brilliant. You'll have guys who, like Marco Verratti, are hell-bent on only ever fucking getting paid oil money. They're going to have an opportunity to go get paid more oil money, right? Isn't it crazy that Marco Verratti is going from PSG to Al Hilal? He'll have never played in Serie A, probably ever. He's only ever gotten paid obscene oil money, ever. Which, by the way, like, he smokes and stuff. At a certain point, he's like, 30? I think he's 31. So he's 30, he'll be turning 31 this year. It's like at a certain point, you get to being a more mature adult. You probably think, fucking, I'll go where I'm not getting my balls busted anymore, When you get to being in your 30s and you're still smoking, they give you a hard time. Fuck, you're not professional in Saudi. You know what they fucking say? The fucking cigarette packs in Saudi Arabia probably say, if it makes you happy, smoke. That's what it probably says, So I think you will have guys that are going there because they're going to get treated like kings. So there's a couple, again, I think the Saudis will be more lax on a lot of issues that prevent players from going to clubs in Europe. I do think you will have some Saudi clubs who say, fuck it, we don't give a shit. We'll take on a guy like Greenwood. I'm not even kidding you. I think that might happen. They might actually have an understanding of like Western PR to the point that they wouldn't do something like that. But at a certain point in time, I wouldn't totally put it past clubs like that. So that's one small reason why you might go there as a player. I do also think if you want to have a much more chill way of life and you fucking want to just get paid obscene amounts of money, it's great. But the other kind of more important thing ultimately is that they will operate outside of the confines of UEFA, right? We've always thought that the biggest league in the world can only ever be in Europe and it has to be a UEFA club. Technically, Saudi Arabia is in the Asian League or the Asian Confederation. I don't know if they, I don't even know how the Asian Champions League works. I know it's a competition that is pretty big within like that continent, but I don't know. It feels like a matter of time before like the Saudi League might try to strike some kind of deal to maybe be part of the, UEFA Champions League. I don't know, but currently as things stand, they're not part of UEFA, right? Why is that relevant? Well, because they don't have any of the obligations that other clubs have. It is effectively a super league, which is being created before our eyes. The reason that Juve are getting punished right now by UEFA is because of the fact that Agnelli tried spearheading the super league thing. That's clear, right? And what you're seeing is the FIGC, the Italian Football Federation, it appears, was used by UEFA as an arm to achieve its strategic end, which was to punish Juventus. Now, here's the thing that I'm kind of I'm all over the map here talking about Saudi Arabia and back and forth. It feels like a relevant thing that we have to discuss every week, but ultimately, anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is I think when you see the case of Juve right now and you see the, power that UEFA is wielding over them, it really does beg the question as to whether or not a Super League might be better for clubs, the clubs themselves, right? The clubs themselves who are thinking of their own self-interest, acting selfishly. It does make you wonder whether or not the Saudi thing might take off, because if they could just get more players to sign on and the league could become more competitive, then they might be in a position where they can, leverage their independent position to kind of become like an almost super league. But I want to consider for a sec here what's actually gone on at Juve in particular, because I was thinking, right, so Juve got banned from the Conference League, and I just clapped and said, brilliant. Well, why was it the Conference League they got banned from? Because they finished in 7th place? Okay, let's keep going. Why did they finish in 7th place?
Because of the deduction of points.
Exactly. Where would they have finished if it weren't for the point deduction?
Third?
I think 4th. 3rd or 4th. Champions League spots, right? So, can you imagine if UEFA was hell-bent on banning them from Europe no matter what? If they're in the Champions League, they're banning them from Europe, they're out of the Champions League. If they're in the fucking Conference League, they're banning them from Europe, they're out of the Conference League. But either way, it's a European ban. I think if they're getting banned from the Champions League, Juve fans, Juve the club, and the players are all much more devastated. It might be, again, so I've been saying for a while that I think the FIGC might have been acting as an arm for UEFA to kind of achieve UEFA's ultimate goal of kind of just punishing Juve for, getting out of line. I think there might be a chance that the FIGC, the Italian Football Federation, actually had the foresight, and I might be giving them credit here. I'm serious. Gravina, the president of the FIGC, might have actually been comfortable with the position that he was putting himself in here, where he might have had to have been the sacrificial lamb who kind of looks like a jackass who's going after Juve. But it could be that he might have actually been trying to protect them in a way and trying to lessen the blow by going after them for this other totally arbitrary case, which is that of the overinflated transfer values, and said, we're punishing you guys, we're deducting points. How many? 15. Well, they'll appeal. We'll fine. We'll meet in the middle. It'll be 10, and hopefully 10 points will be enough to get them out of, the top 4 spots. Because usually the gap isn't that large, right? Just a theory, but it's almost like no one cares now because it's only the Conference League. And why is it only the Conference League? Well, because the FIGC docked points for them and they were supposed to finish in 4th place. That's relevant. It does make you realize that the the European ban is a very dangerous precedent, because it happens to only be a Conference League ban here, but it's a European ban. It would have been the Champions League had the FIGC not acted intelligently or stupidly. It might be like an ancillary, positive benefit of the FIGC's stupidity, or maybe they had the foresight to do it, and actually, made a conscious decision to try to lessen the blow. Because Juve, and the FIGC probably knew for a long time, yeah, we're screwed because of the fucking stock market manipulation shit. We're it's over. UEFA has, they have something on us. They've been trying to, they probably had it out for us. Ceferin, the president of UEFA, has had something out for Juve for a little while. And it's boom, you got the video of Ray Rice hitting the lady in the elevator. It's, it's irrefutable evidence. Boom, done. So it's almost like they might have all known it was going to happen at some point. So they're like, you know what? The way this plays out is how it's, going to play out. That's it. That might be why you've seen the club being kind of aloof generally. Just not that, I feel like the club's not really been that, or at least the figures of the club, I don't think have been that, they haven't had this burning, anger inside of them, at least in the public sphere. I mean, a lot of the guys who were upset about it did wind up leaving, Nedved being one of them. I mean, it could be that the board stepping down kind of had an effect on it, and it's the new guys who came in were listen, okay, we just got to, navigate these choppy waters, but we're keeping the same coach. We're not shifting, we're not shifting things around too much. We're going to try to offload some of the players if we can. We're not going to bring too many new players. On a sporting level, they brought in a new sporting director in the hope that might help, because you may as well try to be competitive on a sporting level. But it's almost like they just understood, yeah, we got to just kind of navigate this weird 2-year period, and then things will be back, if this wasn't Juve and it was another club having to handle this, you wonder how well they would have handled it. You wonder if another club might have gotten totally smoked by this in a way that would have affected them much worse. I don't know, but just maybe just a conspiracy theory that I wanted to share. But I had the thought recently, that in some way the FIGC kind of indirectly might have helped Juve, given that the given that the UEFA ban was going to happen no matter what, right? Given that the European ban was going to happen no matter what, it's almost like, hey, you know what? Let's lessen the blow, because the people are going to riot if it's Champions League football they're getting deprived of. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's I don't know if that's the note I want to end on here, but stay, use your big boy brain. Think beyond what is immediately, before you. I say this after months of having come out and said, this is a witch hunt. Who knows? Who knows is the point, right? That's kind of the point. Before we send you off to Italy, anything you want to add, or would you like to pull up that article maybe about the Napoli fan? Is there anything you'd like to say, or you want to get into this article? Where do you want to take this as we close this thing out?
Well, you've seen the article.
I saw the headline.
Is it?
I want to read it a little bit more in depth.
Let's go.
I don't know if it's worth it, but this is just an interesting note to end on here because I don't want to end on the fucking depressing like conspiracy note here. Here's a headline for you. Italian fugitive wanted for 11 years arrested after soccer celebration. Now here, hang on. When is this from? Is this from June? This might be 2 months old. Is this 2 days old or is this 2 months old? It says 0806.
No.
In any event, doesn't matter.
Whatever.
A crime fugitive from Italy was able to evade authorities for the past 11 years until this weekend when his celebration of the Napoli soccer club's win blew his cover in Corfu, Greece. Carabinieri Parliamentary Police based in Naples, Italy said 60-year-old Vincenzo Laporta was seen in a photo of fans in Corfu who celebrated the Napoli soccer squad's recent win. Laporta was part of Italy's list of their 100 most dangerous fugitives. Not very original, by the way, being an Italian man deciding to go to Corfu, go to Greece. If you really want to throw him off, go to Norway. Going to Greece, that's like the first place that I'm looking anyway. Greece, Spain, Corsica. 3 places I'm looking first. Investigators said that Laporta was in the photo holding a scarf in the colors of Napoli. Okay, I don't like that they keep saying soccer. It says the Napoli Soccer League, which is obviously like horseshit. I don't know what the fucking article this is. I don't know what source this is. It's a garbage website. There's so much garbage reporting nowadays, dude. I saw a tweet the other day which said that Harry Kane was prepared to pay his own buyout clause to go to Bayern Munich. And it was from an account called like Footy Transfers, and they had a blue check mark. And for a brief second was like, I was like, fuck, this is legit. They have a blue check. And I realized, oh yeah, anyone could pay for one now. Once alerted to the photos, police tailed Laporta in Corfu and stopped him while he rode on a motorcycle. Greek police said he was arrested Friday afternoon. I got to say that's very weak that he wasn't able to bribe off Greek police. But the Greek police were probably in a position where they got a call from the Carabinieri and they were like, hey, you better deliver on him. And if they didn't, it would have looked a little sus. You imagine if the Greek cops come back and say, yeah, he got away. You gotta just break into their house and fucking rip through the mattress and just check what's in there. You got to assume that they're harboring some kind of payoff somewhere, some bribe, under the floorboards. So I guess they had no choice there. Laporta was convicted in absentia. I don't know how to pronounce that word, which is kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. Do you? Exactly.
No,
that's what I thought. So whatever. He was absently convicted for criminal and organizational crimes and is considered to be close to a crime clan of the Camorra syndicate based in Naples, according to police. Betraying him was his passion for soccer and for the Napoli team. Police said in a statement. What they meant is La Squadra del Napoli. Anyway, whatever. With the championship victory, Laporta couldn't resist celebrating. I love this so much, but it's also an exact, here's why I wanted to rap on this. This guy, okay, I'm happy I'm rapping on this. You understand, man, sick, Jesus Christ, this fucking mic. Okay, we're going to cut this out here in a sec here, but I don't know why the mic keeps fucking cutting out. You're getting that, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't know what's going on. Okay, but so this man is 60 years old, okay? And he couldn't resist celebrating a soccer team's victory. Do you understand that this man doesn't want to have to feel this way, but he just does? It's a curse. You understand? It's a curse. He couldn't resist. So by the way, I think this was recent. This was over the weekend. So I guess there were people that took a picture on, probably they were there for Ferragosto, right? You had fucking Neapolitans who went to Corfu and met up with him, which is pretty funny. It's like the cops didn't know where he was, but his boys did. But it's a curse, It's a fucking curse. This man does not want to support Napoli anymore, but he has to because it's just in his brain. He's 60 years old. That means he saw Maradona play. That means he's too far gone. His brain is fried. You remember Nancy Reagan in the 80s used to say that when you fry an egg, when you take drugs, it's like cracking an egg into a pan. It's like frying your brain.
I think I've seen a clip.
It's like his brain is just fried. It's too late. You understand? Quote, we will say he does not want to be extradited, unquote. Yeah, no kidding. Fucking Atanasio. Oh, hang on. Hold on. I'm going to read that again. Quote, we will say that he does not want to be extradited. Athanasios Giannakouris, Laporta's lawyer, told the Association Press. He was sentenced long ago for tax offenses. He started a new family in Greece. He has a 9-year-old boy and is working as a cook to get by. He suffers from heart ailments. If he's extradited, he and his family will be ruined. Well, you know, boo-hoo. At least Napoli won the fucking title, right? That's the point, right? He's but a poor man, convicted of tax offenses and camorra crimes, one of the most dangerous fugitives. By the way, not many, like, I don't know what that list is. Most dangerous fugitives. How many people are actual fugitives who leave the Italian state? That's probably a pretty low bar. This guy's working as a cook in Corfu, you know? He's one of the top fucking 100 most dangerous. I don't know about that. But anyway. Heart issues, new family, new boy. Listen, that sucks. But at least Napoli won the fucking title, right? Now you think that little boy, dude, that little boy is fucked. You understand? That little boy is fucked. Maybe he'll resent Napoli growing up, actually, because it'll be like the reason that his father went away. But I suspect that kid's going to really love Napoli. 9 years old, the fucking team won the title, and your dad goes away for it. I think you have to, like, defend the team forever. He's fucked. Another one bites the dust, dude. That's what that is. Just another fucking soul lost to football fandom. I'm reading a book called Among the Thugs by Bill Buford. I highly recommend it if you guys haven't ever heard of it. It was written in, like, 1990. It's like the foremost book on like football fandom and ultra hooliganism and shit, like back in the 80s in England. And yeah, man, I mean, when you're in, you're too far gone. When that's your life, that's your fucking life. And it's you got to try to, it's almost like you got to diversify the kid's interests. It's like you want him to play the sport more than you want him to watch it. Because if he plays it, he might get, you know, something might become of him. But if he watches it, imagine like watching a sport that you never were able to play. It's a lot of guys out there, man. It's tough, you know? It's almost just like a distraction to keep you from thinking about your impending doom, you know? This kid's fucked. 9 years old, and he's a Napoli lifer now, you know? It's pretty funny though. He does not want to be extradited. The reason I knew where I was going, dude. I fucking knew that he definitely doesn't want to leave Greece because he's got fucking la bella vita there. But now they're describing this like squalid life of working as a cook, dude. Such a Mediterranean sob story. He barely gets by. He's an innocent cook. Look at him. Look at his boy. Look at his wife. Wife's crying, you know. She fucking has Chanel purses and stuff under the fucking bathtub, just stashed away, you know. My ass, dude. That's the fucking move, huh? We barely have enough to get by. Qua non ci stanno I soldi. Qua non ci stanno I soldi. Fucking Louboutin shoes. Going to Mykonos. Going to Formentera, you know. Fuck out of here. This guy's a king, dude. This guy's a fucking king of Corfu right now, dude. He's fucking calling his boys in to come see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he wants his boys to come in and see him working as a squalid cook. A life of squalor. I like that word today. Squalor. Squalic. Yeah, he's selling hash.
That's what you think?
He's pushing P.
Pushing P.
That's what I think. All right. Where are you going in Italy? Catanzaro and
Rome.
And Rome. Rome and Catanzaro. Okay. How's Catanzaro looking? You were saying they were playing a friendly against Foggia the other day.
No, Coppa Italia.
Oh, is it upcoming or did they just play?
They played. They won 1-0.
They won.
Yeah.
That's good.
On to the next round. I think they're playing Udinese.
Yeah, that's tough. You guys had to go through the first round. I mean, Cosenza, no big deal. They're fucking coming in this weekend, August 30th. It's only the second round, you know. Big dogs. Big dog shit. You know. Cosenza are the kings of Calabria right now, I think, dude. Reggina getting... What's going on with the... Actually, I don't want to fucking talk about Reggina anymore. Dude, I can't do it. This is going to be like the fifth time we talk about Reggina since the month of like May. Just look them up. Just look up. I haven't checked the news for like 2 weeks, just before you wrap. What's going on with Reggina? Let's see what's up. I love how the first result is Reggina soccer registration. Because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is will they or will they not be able to be registered?
First.
And they almost got promoted to Serie A, dude. Nothing.
Juventus, that's January.
Reggina Calcio. Hang on, look this up here real quick. They're out. They're out as of 1 day ago, as of yesterday. Fuck, dude. And the fucked up thing too is also that Reggina, I think, got dog points last year. They might have even been in a better position to get promoted had they not gotten points deducted for some fucking arbitrary reason. So what does this mean? The TAR tribunal has explained why. What's the headline of this article? Headline of this article is, okay, great. Serie B. Tribunal gives reasons for Reggina exclusion. By this one lady who's, like, this lady, Susie Campanale, is the only person I think who's ever written for Football Italia for the past 8 years. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she wants. But she's just combing through Italian articles all day. What a fucking machine. Okay, the TAR tribunal has explained why it decided to admit Lecco back into Serie B for the 2023-24 season, but exclude the Reggina, though another appeal is pending. Another appeal is pending. So what does that mean? Does another appeal mean they're going to play in Serie B until a further decision is rendered? Because Serie B starts in like a week, dog. The campaign is set to kick off August 18th. And it wasn't until a few days ago that it became clear who would actually be participating in the tournament. That makes sense because currently, when I look at the Cosenza schedule, it says that there's one game in like 4 weeks. That's Cosenza versus TBA. I assumed it was Reggina. I guess that makes sense. Both Lecco and Reggina had been excluded, but the TAR tribunal, I don't know what that is, by the way, readmitted Lecco on appeal over delays in getting their stadium certified. Reggina had already faced point penalties during last season for financial irregularities, and the club was in the process of a takeover that completed this summer. However, the tribunal ruled that Reggina still had time to cover the outstanding debts, even during the takeover. So they missed a payment. The matter is not over yet because Reggina and Perugia have already announced that they will lodge another appeal to the Consiglio di Stato. Perugia are in trouble too. How many fucking clubs? This is just every August. This is just fucking August in Italy, dude. This is Ferragosto. This is Ferragosto, dude. Every fucking year, at the turn of the month of July and August, there are teams in the lower divisions that are launching appeals ruthlessly. Just vigorously fucking running through the courts. Reggina le motivazioni debiti potevano essere pagati prima del 20 giugno. Well, okay, let bygones be bygones, you know? That's what I say. But no, we got to be principled here and say, dude, it's a fucking miracle that the club is even... The fact that they found an investor. You understand that unpaid debts usually means you're done. You're never going to hear about them again. No Reggina, no more. It's over. Eccellenza. Serie D usually is like the thing. Serie D, by the way, is what happens to them if the final appeal doesn't work. Serie D. So amateur ranks, semi-pro, technically, right? Or semi-pro, right? Semi-pro, I think. But at least there's still, even then, that's kind of a minor miracle. If there was you understand that if nobody chose to invest in them, and God knows what debt that guy's taking. Just what an altruist that guy is. I don't know if he really sees the vision in Reggio Calabria, fucking at the foot of the Strait of Sicily, where they could have very easily built a bridge in 1968, probably. It's not an actual year I'm pulling out of my ass, but they could have built a bridge to Messina a long time ago from Reggio, by the way. Fucking, literally bridged Sicily and Italy together, and the Mafia and the 'Ndrangheta for the fucking longest time have been holding off just because they like having control of the ports. You understand that that's the thing that's been going on in Reggio for like decades? You really think that's going to be a city that is worth investing in? You really think they're going to fucking, go up to Serie A one day and just become the new Sassuolo, right? Like maintain a project? There's a guy sinking money, some poor bastard, who loves Nduja, whatever. I don't know. Some Calabrese American guy. Who the fuck knows? I don't know who the investor was, but whoever it was some sucker who just said, I can't see this team die. That's a miracle. You understand that without that investor, it's Chievo Verona. They're down to city. They're down to prima categoria, terza categoria. They're down to fucking 9th, 10th division. There's no more Reggio. Just so you know. Just so you know, that's how it goes. We gotta just say, in some way, honestly, the tribunal can't say, listen, man, be happy you're in Serie D. Gavel. Done. Okay, my mic keeps bothering me. I don't know what more to do about this. We're gonna have to just make this, I don't know, we're gonna have to fucking fix it for next time. I don't know what to do. Maybe the wire's all fucked up. I don't know. But the pod's done. That's it. Over. Follow me at Sam Adamo. Or follow me at I'm Sam Adamo. Jesus Christ. I'm at Sam Adamo. Anyway, whatever. You know, if you're like an hour 10 in, you already know where I'm at. And that's it. You're not a new person who stayed for a whole fucking pod, probably. But follow me if you don't. Subscribe, hit like. Like helps us. A lot of you watch, not many of you like. So just hit like. Just hit like. It helps us, apparently. Okay. Until next time, we'll catch you soon. Alla prossima, Dilo. Have a good time in Italy. We'll catch you soon. Ciao.